Sam.
Trish, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Well, it's nice to have you back. We are excited to see what you have for us this time.
Start off with this is our Memory Craft 14,000. As you can see, this is a sewing and embroidery combination. We have a nice 11-inch throat on this machine. Not only that, this machine has 400 decorative stitches. It's all laid out here on the panel. Another cool thing about this machine I love is up here on the top of the machine, if I take my hands and slide it out, we have an extra light. What I love about this light is I can adjust the light to shine directly on the sewing area, which there never seems to be enough light, is there? And the other thing about this machine is it comes with a magnifier. That's right, it comes with a magnifier. I have attached it to the machine. If I don't want to use it, I can simply swing it out of position, or I can take it off altogether. Talking about accessories, this machine also comes with 21 different feet. We have our overcast foot. We have our decorative stitch foot. We have a blind hem foot for all those of you who do garment sewing. We have our zipper foot. We have a nice narrow zipper foot. Another thing nice about the zipper foot is the zipper foot itself has a center hole in it. And there's not many feet. I think we're the only company that makes a zipper foot with the hole in the center. That way, if something happens, you don't break your needle. The next one is, this is our concealed zipper foot, which is a invisible zipper foot. For those of you, like I said, who do garment construction, not only that, if you notice, a lot of home deck nowadays have an invisible zipper built in, so you don't see the zipper. You get a 1/4-inch foot, comes with the machine. You have the open toe foot. A lot of people like to use this foot for doing applique work. There's a rolled hem foot. You also get a foot for mending. This is a hopping foot. Some people still like to use this for free motion quilting. You also get 3 different non-hopping quilting foot that's attached to the ankle. You'll have a open toe here, a closed toe, and also an echo quilting foot. Next to that, we have a button sewing foot. And what's I love about this button foot is this blue part is rubberized. So when I put this on my foot, I put the foot down, the button don't pop out or move. It holds it in place. And of course, we have our standard embroidery foot. Not only that, these 2 foot right here, they are actually yarn couching foot. This machine comes with 2 different yarn couching foot that allows you to do yarn couching in the embroidery mode. That's a yarn couching bar guide. It also have, it fell off, just in case you guys didn't see that, a what we call an upgraded automatic buttonhole maker. And why we call this, it's automatic, it's upgraded, because this buttonhole maker here, we have a stabilizer plate that goes with it. And how you would use that is you put your fabric here, put the foot on top, and you would sandwich the fabric when you're doing a buttonhole. So this way, there's no missed bar tacking because your sandwich is sandwiched in between the quilting, the buttonhole foot, and the stabilizer plate. And so this is an upgraded buttonhole foot. Not only that, this machine also have what we call an AccuFeed Flex system. The AccuFeed Flex system is basically this foot right here. It's our dual feed foot. What the dual feed foot does is, as you can see back here, there's a little hook right here, and it hooks up to the back of the machine. So that way, when we're sewing, this hook moves up and down in real time with the shaft, on the shaft of the machine, and it works in conjunction with the feed dogs. So these 2 stitch fingers right here will go up and down. They ride directly on top of the feed dogs, and you have your fabric sandwiched together and pulled evenly. So that way you don't ever end up having the top fabric being longer than your bottom fabric. So that, and most people call it the walking foot, but then we call it a dual feed foot because that's what it's doing. It is actually feeding top and bottom. Now this next one is a 1/4-inch foot. that attaches to our dual feet foot right here. The shoe, the plate itself just comes off and you just take it on and off. The other one foot is another one you get. It's a narrower one. This is a narrow one, so if you need something with not such a big foot, you can get this one to use a narrow foot. Some people like to use this for putting binding on their quilts. Another thing good to use for is if you're making purses, handbags, anything that's really thick and you can't use this big foot because it sits half on, half off the project, use a narrower one. I use this one a lot and I love it. Not only that, it comes with the zipper foot. As you notice, this particular zipper foot back here is made for this dual feet foot because the back is a cutout. The other one on top, if you notice, it's solid. So this is your regular zipper foot and this is your dual feet one. So you actually get 2 zipper foot for this machine. I love using this when I make bags and stuff. I don't have to readjust my stitch length when I'm putting a zipper into a bag because I don't have to worry about the stitches being too short. Because if you've ever done bags before and you've never adjusted your stitch length when you're sewing, when you're going through something thick, your stitch length almost are on top of each other. It doesn't look natural, so more than likely you would need to lengthen your stitch length. It also comes with a button shank. Most people use this. They call this a jump humper, but what it's actually used for is elevate the button to give you a shank button. Now that we're going to the winter time, some of you may be making coats and stuff, and that's where that comes in. You also get a quilting bar guide that goes into these dual feet foot or into the standard ankle of a machine, and you also get some sorted needles and stuff like that. And of course you get a screwdriver, some bobbins and things like that. I didn't put that on there because we all know what those look like. And with this machine, you also get this wonderful large extension table. Now, I didn't put the legs on this extension table where you're looking at the holes are. And how this extension table works is this. I would take out my extension table or your storage compartment on the front of the machine. The storage compartment in front of the machine, just let you know, there's a compartment in front that opens up that you can put all your accessories on here. So to put the extension table on, I will simply pull this out, and my extension table would actually go on here like this. It would actually sit on the machine with the legs on here like this. Now, you notice that the table looks kind of funny. It looks like it's cut off back here. That's because our embroidery unit is attached to the back of the machine. Now, the embroidery unit does come separately. You do attach it when you put it on the machine, but once you put it on, you don't ever have to take it off. And I'll tell you why. You won't want to leave it on the machine when you're doing sewing. But that's how our machine is done, where the embroidery unit attaches to the machine. And again, the machine, this table attaches here. So that way it allows our embroidery unit to travel left and right when we're doing machine embroidery. The screen itself is 7.7 by 4.7 touchscreen. Okay? As you can see right now, 4.5 is my center needle position. If I need to change my stitch, the needle position on a straight stitch, I can just hit the plus sign and you can see the needle moving on the screen and also see it moving on the machine itself. If I need to go the opposite direction, I can just touch it and it's moving 1 millimeter at a time. If I need to change my stitch length, I can come in here and hit the plus sign and go up to a 5.0 stitch length. What you're seeing on the screen is actually how long that stitch would be if I was to go to stitch it out. Right here in the front, we have a lever. And this machine, if you look at the throat plate, I have no screws on here. What this means is I have a one-hand change throat plate. I take the lever, simply push it down, the throat plate pops up, lift it out, and I can simply remove it. Take my other plate, this is a single hole plate, put it in the machine, and push it in, and it's changed. Nice, fast, simple, and easy. Now, if you look at the screen again, you will notice all my other stitches have disappeared. All I have is the straight stitch in my screen. If I scroll down my screen, you can see only thing I'm getting is straight stitches. That's because these plates have sensors and it won't let me pick a decorative stitch or anything that will break my needle. So in order to get the other stitches back, I'm gonna go here and change the plate out. Again, I simply touch it, pop the plate out, put the zigzag plate back in, okay? And I always get a message on the screen, so make sure your proper pressure foot is attached. Touch the X. And you can see all my other stitches are back. Now, if you notice on here, it has the A foot listed. Anytime I change a stitch on the machine, let's say any of the 400 stitches on the machine, if I pick like number 17, this is an overcast stitch. It will tell me to put the M foot on. It's not going to give you a foot that doesn't come with the machine. The tray that goes on the machine itself, when you open it up, there is a storage compartment right here that you can line up all your feet and put them on here. The single hole plate right here, they even make a compartment for it. So what you would do is you turn it upside down. It can just slide right here and store it into this compartment. Slide it back in place, and it's nice and neat and organized. This is what we call the cloth guide. The cloth guide, if you look on the machine up here on the top ribbon, I have a button that looks like this cloth guide. What I love about the Janome machines are visually it's very easy to use. I have that cloth guide. What the cloth guide do is I actually attach it to my embroidery unit like I would if I was put an embroidery hoop on, put it in, turn it to lock it, go up here to my screen, touch the cloth guide. I get a message. The carriage arm will now move. I just want to make sure I don't have anything to the left of the machine. Hit OK and watch. It automatically moved to the 5/8 needle position, which means, let me get out here, X out of here, I'm on the utility stitch. From the center needle position to the edge of the guide, it's exactly 5/8 of an inch. So if I was going to sew something like a piece of fabric, from there, from where the needle is, and put this back on. Okay, so if I want to sew something, simply touch that. See, perfectly quarter inch. 5/8 of an inch for doing garments and stuff. We have a scissor key right here, so I can just simply cut it. It cuts both of my thread for me, and the foot will come up automatically. Okay, so this is just to show you. To drop my foot, I have a button right here. I can drop it and raise my foot. I have a needle up, needle down function, a tie off key. So what that does is make a little knot at the end of my stitch so I don't need to do a back stitch. I also have a reverse button. If I want to sew in reverse, I simply hold this button down to sew in reverse. Start, stop button. It does come with the needle, does come with the foot control, but you don't always need to have a foot control. You can piece or sew with the start, stop button, just like I did earlier. We have a sliding speed sliding bar right here, so you can adjust the speed of your sewing. And this machine also has 2 motors. We have a bobbin winding button right here. That means when I'm sewing or embroidering, I can go up here, push this over, touch the button, and see the little wheel spinning. I would actually be winding a bobbin. When I'm done, this would actually click over and it would stop. Just want to let you know it does come with this extra large foot control. which is really nice to have on this machine. You got nice big foot control. Not only that, it does come with a knee lift for those of you who like using a knee lift. This is what we call an adjustable knee lift. There's a screw up here, so you can adjust it if you need to. By adjusting it, meaning how close you want to come to your knee. Okay, so you have adjustable knee lift. You also have a CD called AccuTools CD. What this is used for is in the embroidery mode. It is actually the, we'll get to when we go into embroidery, your whole embroidery function, your whole editing function that you have on the screen. You load this onto your PC, you have that function to use on your PC also. This will also let you transfer design. If you don't have any embroidery software, this will open up the GIF format or the DST format so that you can see your embroidery design, the ones that you purchase online. This machine still comes with a very intuitive spiral bound manual. We're going to talk about this cloth guide. Okay, as you notice on the cloth guide, the default position is set at 5/8. So let's say I'm quilting. I want to move this to a 1/4 inch like it's up here. So what I would do is simply touch the arrow to move the cloth guide to the left. Now I'm at a 1/2 inch, 3/8, and now that's a 1/4 inch. So that means it's a 1/4 inch from the center needle position to the guide right here. There we have a 1/4 inch. So what's so nice about this? You have a lot of flexibility with this machine because some people don't like to use the 1/4 inch foot that comes with the machine. They want to stitch at the center needle position because this being a 9mm machine, the 1/4 inch you would have to move the needle over to the right. Most people don't like that and they want to stitch with the regular foot. You can just put the cloth guide on and do the same thing. Or the other option is you could put the 1/4 inch foot on if you're doing something like a bargello where you have long strips of fabric. You want to get your strips lined up before it gets to the foot. That's a good way of doing it. What I love about the cloth guide is not only for these narrow positions, what I normally use it for is when I have to hem something like a skirt or a hem to a curtain. That's when you really need to move the cloth guide. The cloth guide being able to move, as you can see, I'm moving it by 1/8 of an inch at a time. See, now it's at 1 1/8 and a 1/4. After it goes to 1 1/4, we get to move it in 1/2 inch increments. So now I'm at 2 1/2. There's a 3 inch. So if I need something to do a 3 inch hem, I no longer have to put painter's tape, any kind of tape on my machine, because I have the cloth guide that is fully movable. It's all the way back to 8 inches. So I have that much space to move. When I'm done with this, what I simply have to do is, I have an icon on the machine that looks like the cloth guide with the arrow going to the right. When I touch this, it says keep sand clear. The carriage will now move. It's a safety function. I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see, it takes me back to the home position. And then it's simply to take it off, turn it, and pick it up. And this is the cloth guide for this machine. Now, some of the other features we have on this machine is this. This is what we call the auto pivot function, or some people call it the hovering function. This button right here that looks like the foot is up, the piece of fabric and the needle. When I activate this, the icon turns black. And what happens is when I'm sewing and I stop, you see how the foot automatically comes up? My needle stays down. This allows me to pivot my fabric easily. Or if I just need to sew something straight, and sometimes I need to move it a little bit, I can just do that. And again, I'll show you how it works again. I hit the start stop button. See that? That's a nice feature to have. This way I don't have to use my knee lift or anything like that. Another thing you might notice on here on the machine is I have a fully automatic needle threader on here. Now it's going to show you how that works. Turn off the auto pivot function. Taking the thread out the needle. As you can see, it's out of needle now. I'm just going to come up here, put it in the needle threader. And then what I'm going to do is going to come to the machine. I'm going to lock out the machine. Once the machine is locked out, there's a light that comes on to tell me I'm ready to thread the needle threader. So I simply push this button, and as you can see, it automatically threaded my needle for me. And once I have done that, I simply come back, unlock the screen, and the light disappears. So it's just that simple to thread the needle threader on this machine. This is what we call a twin needle guard. What the twin needle guard does is, let's say I'm going to use a 2-thread. So I'm going to let the machine know I'm going to do twin needle sewing. I touch that, and only those stitches, as you can see on the screen, I have 2 rows of stitching right here, and only the stitches that will work with the twin needle that comes with the machine is shown on the screen. So if I page to another screen, you can see the certain stitches won't show up. And what's so nice about it is this. It shows it in 2 different colors, so I can see what my design will look like. And just think about it, some of your decorative stitches, how cool will it be to put 2 different color threads in here and put it through the machine and stitch them out? You get a whole new different look with this machine. We have a function on the machine with 2 rows of a row of hearts, and then with a row of hearts and a spade and a diamond. That tells you this is our combine key. I simply touch that, and now I can start combining design. I just happen to be on heirloom designs. So if I don't want to go to heirloom, I want to see all the different stitches that's up here on the machine. As you can see, I have all different categories up on top. What I would do is this. I will come up here on my machine, go to my home key. It brings up a quarter moon. This is a menu. In the menu, this is my utility stitches, my buttonhole stitches. And then this is my beginning of my decorative stitch. When I select that, it goes into my different categories, just like it's up here on the screen. You'll see on the screen we have applique, heirloom, quilt, bridge stitches, decorative, long, pictograph, and play stitches. And you do have some fonts available to you on this machine. And these fonts are in the regular sewing mode, not in the embroidery. You have more choices when we go into the embroidery mode. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's look at some decorative stitches, shall we? So on the decorative stitches on a machine it tells me there are 7 pages on the screen to go through to look at all these decorative stitches that I have up here on the top of my screen. Not only that, on the screen itself, it's telling me, if you notice, some of these stitches are in a gray shaded box. That means these stitches can be mirror image upside down. All the stitches on our machine can be mirror image left to right. The ones that are in the gray box means they can be mirror image upside down. And right here, there's an icon showing you that, this little thing like a hamburger. And that's what it means. It means all those stitches can be mirror image upside down. We have a question asking me what my favorite stitches are. Well, it depends on what I'm doing. I love some of the words up here that says handmade, stitch, fashion, and stuff like that. The ones I use the most, okay, is these stitches like right here, the spool of thread, the needle, and the scissors. So I know those on the last page. So what I'm going to go to my machine and scroll down. Well, it's in pictograph. So let me go to the correct category first. I'm going to go home. choose my decorative stitch, go to pictographs, and it's on right here on the second page. I have the needle with a thread right here. Next to that, it's a spool of thread. Next to that is a pair of scissors. I like to do this when I'm doing handbags and stuff. What I like to do with this particular stitches, now that I have it combined, I can go and stitch it on a piece of webbing and then attach it to my handbags to customize my handbag and stuff. There's my dress form. I can select the dress form, and I just added that to my roll of stitching. And here's some of the words I was telling you about. We have some words like handmade. Also, there's words like fashion, stitch, love, sweet, and so forth. And you might be wondering what this little square is. That little square is if I want to put a space between the word sweet and love, I have a little gap right there. Now, for example, if you see this little red cursor right here, if I want to edit one of these letters, I just move my arrows up, the letter is highlighted, and down here you have that little thing that looks like a hamburger. There's my mirror imaging key. I can mirror image the letter and turn it upside down if I want to. I can do it again, turn it right side back up. Yeah, I can move the cursor up if I want to insert. For example, the word is fashion here. Let's say I want to insert something in front of the word fashion. I want to insert the umbrella. See how simple that is? Just to insert a design. I just simply touch the umbrella. It just inserted it. Now up here, I've got a lot of tools up here to work with too. So if I want to see, as you can see, my stitches, I can't see it all on the screen. I can't remember everything I touched. I touched the magnifier. It automatically shows me all the stitches that I have combined so far, and the stitches is how they're going to stitch out. So they will stitch out continuously like this in a row. This is the lettering function. Select ABC, and I can spell my name, Sam. S-A-M. And there's my name, just add it right to here. It's just that simple. So if I want to add a space, you notice on the lettering function, I have 3 different squares. So that means I have 3 different space option on this machine. There's a medium space. And when I stitch this out, it's just a running stitch. It's just a jump stitch, not running stitch, just a jump stitch. Okay, so let's talk about the other portion to this machine, which is our embroidery portion, okay? Well, you have 2 machines. You see I have a machine here for regular sewing. The other machine means the embroidery mode. So I'm going to touch this button. It says the carrot arm will not open. Do we want to? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we open up the carriage arm, although I can go into the embroidery mode and do everything I need to do without the carriage arm being open. So I just tell the machine, okay. Now it's asked me, do I resume the last pattern? No, I don't want to. And it's okay, so I just touch X to get out. There's the beginning of my embroidery screen, okay. In the embroidery screen, I have a flower, ABCs, and the edit icon. The flower icon is where you would look to find all the 350 built-in decorative stitches. Decorative embroidery designs right here. The ABC is all the letterings that is built into the machine is found here. And this is my edit screen. It's right here. So if I want to look at the built-in design, touch the flower. Right now, if I touch the top flower again, I can look at designs by category. Okay, I can scroll through and look at all the different designs. I can go back up and look at them. Or, if I X out of here, go back to the screen I was. Right now, I can just page through them this way and it just shows me all the different stitches. Okay? Or I can look at the decorative stitch by hoop sizes. Okay, there are 4 hoops that comes with the machine. You have the square 14 hoop, which is a 5.5 by 5.5, a square 23, which is 9.1 by 9.1, the GR hoop, which is 9.1 by 11.8. This is how big the embroidery field on this machine. And you have what we call a free arm hoop. Okay, so we have all those choices on this machine. So let's say I want to see the designs for the GR hoop. Well, when I select that, it automatically bring up all the GR hoop designs. Okay, and it shows me I have 3 pages of them. I can scroll through and look at them and just let you see how pretty these designs are. For example, this girl right here, it doesn't look like much, but this is actually cross stitching. Okay, the machine on the ready to sew screen will show me the hoop that I have selected, the foot that I need to use, and it tells me what the current speed is. I have it on 900. Remember the sliding speed bar right here? On embroidery, I can move it while I'm sewing. I can go as slow as 400 stitches a minute, all the way up to 1,000 stitches a minute while the machine is embroidering. And why you would want to do that is sometimes if you're doing something like metallic threads, you may want to slow down your machine without having to go into the setting mode. This is your 5x5 hoop, the 9 by 1 by 11. This is how the biggest hoop that's available. This is 9.1 by 9.1. This is your square hoop. And this is your free arm hoop, which is 3.9 by 7.6. And we'll talk about this in a minute. Over here, I want to show you. These are all the different fonts that's built into the machine. Let me take this down so you don't have to come over. Can you get it here? Okay. As you look at the very top, this is called Micro Gothic. These letters up here, the largest letter under micro, it's a 1/4 inch. That's how big it is. It's only a 1/4 inch tall. So this is called Micro Gothic. Okay. These are the other strips that's available to you is stitched out as is on the machine. These are actually the medium-sized fonts. You have a larger one and a smaller one. So these are the medium fonts that's available to you. You have 2-letter and 3-letter monogramming available that's built into the machine. You have some brackets. I stitched them out. You can use the brackets that's available for either 2-letter or 3-lettering. I stitched them out as is in the machine, and you can see what they look like here. Also in the machine, you have what we call normal sew design. I'll show you those in a minute. These are what they look like stitched out. They're actually, each design is actually individual. So when you look at them on the machine, they're actually one little design like that up here. So what I did is I went and combined them. I just keep touching that design to fill out the entire width of the hoop. And then I just stitched them out so you can see what they look like. And that's what's up here. Over here, I just did this real quick to show you guys. This is faux leather stitched out. This design is not in the machine. It is from OESDs. It was one of their Sashiko design. And what I did was, this is stitched on pleather. I have 2 layers of batting back here. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is black batting. There's 2 layers of batting back here, plus the pleather, stitched with metallic thread, 600 stitches a minute, using a regular size 14 needle. And this is metallic thread. I did not have a single thread breakage in the entire time I was stitching this out. And this is close to a 2-hour stitch out. And that is, very rare, because I know a lot of people complain about embroidering with metallic thread, having thread breakage and stuff like that. And I didn't have any issues at all. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is somebody had asked about going into the edit screen how to resize a design. Okay, let me choose a different design. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go back to the home, go to designs. I'm going to change my hoop size. I'm going to look for a medium-sized design because if I use too big, it's too hard to see. I'm just going to pick the first thing that comes into mind. It goes in the Ready to Sew screen. In the Ready to Sew screen, what I need to do is go back to the home screen. So I'm bring up my edit screen. In the edit screen, I have all these different icons available to me. The first one, it lets me change my hoop size right here. If the hoop is too small to fit the design, it will not show up. It's showing me my current hoop is a size 14 hoop. I can change it to any hoop. So if I want to move it to the square 23 hoop, as you can see, my screen got bigger. It is a touch screen. It allows me to take my fingers and just move it around on the screen, or I can use the directional arrows in the back to make minor adjustment to the design if I want to. To resize the design, right here, you have 2 square blocks. Touch that. Right now, the design's 100%. To make it larger, I simply touch the plus. 120 is the largest you can go. When you resize the design in the machine, it does not recalculate the stitches. All you are doing is stretching the design out. You can, after you resize it, hit OK to save it. If you don't hit OK, it doesn't save it. Okay. I can also shrink the design down. I can copy and paste it right here. Once I touch that button, the design copies directly on top of itself. I can just move it out of position simply by touching the design. Let's say I decided I don't want both of these. I only want one of them. The trash can, I don't know if you, I know it's very faint, hard to see. There's a green box around this top design. If I hit the trash can, whoops, I accidentally hit it twice and just deleted it. So no big deal. Go back to the home key, select the design again, and there it is. I just brought it back in. The hoop remained the same. So I have one on the screen. I can rotate it. To rotate it, I simply can rotate by 1 degree.
Does resizing recalculate the stitch count? Someone else.
I just did
Yeah. She's like, did he say that?
45. Okay. There was a question, somebody asked, does it recalculate the stitches? No, it does not. You will need some kind of digitizing software. The software we sell is the artistic digitizing software. Okay, you can rotate it 45 degrees either direction. You can have fun with it, rotate it all the way around. Hit OK to save it. These mirror imaging icon is the same whether you're in sewing or embroidery. To mirror image from left to right, upside down. Okay, I have more icons available to me down here. If I were, for example, if I was doing something and I had a quilt design, let's say I wanted to have, this is 1/4, I'm putting in the quadrant right here. And I want to have the same design on all 4 quadrant. Up here in the top, I simply touch this. And as you see, it just copied 3 more and rotated to the same position as the original one. So that makes it easy peasy when you're doing quilting. I have a rainbow bar right here. This allows me to change the different colors on the design for visual purpose. So right now it's showing me this design have 5 color changes. The first color is red. So if I want to change it, say blue, come here and touch blue, changes it. There's my second color. It's white on a white screen. I can't see what that is, but there's a solution for that. Up on here on the top, you notice it looks like a little grid. I simply touch that. Okay. This is the background color of the grid. I know there's nothing green, so I'm going to turn it green. Hit OK. Now everything's turned to green. So I'm going to go back to here. There's the blue again. I'm going to change that to purple. Come down. This is white. Oh, I know what I did. You see what I did? If I don't hit OK to save it, it won't save it. So I hit OK to save it. Now my screen is green. Go back again. This is the one where I changed it to purple. Why is it not saving? It should be saving it. I had to exit out of here. Anyway, go on. Wrong thing. I'm looking at the sideways. That pencil does is let me change the name so I can give it a custom name if I want to. See, this part is in blue. If I want to change it, I simply touch it to change a different color. Go down to the next one, change it to a different color. When I'm done, or I don't want to make any more changes, hit OK. It just changed this one little design. The other ones remain the same. The background color stays the same. Now, what's so nice about changing your background color? If I was going to stitch this design on a green piece of fabric, the background color would kind of show me what this design would look like if I had stitched it on the green piece of fabric. The other nice thing about it is if you have done any type of embroidery before, especially lace designs, you notice when you bring most of the lace design comes into your edit screen or it's white. It's very hard to see that design. By changing the background color, now you're able to see your lace design. And the question we always get asked is, how do I change it back to white? Easy. Right here, touch the rainbow bar again, touch your edit screen. It shows me the screen up here is green. DFT means default. Anytime you see that on the screen, touch the default, it will set it back to the factory setting. So after you do that, make sure you hit OK, and it changed the screen back to what it originally is. If I hit OK right now, I take it to my Ready to Sew screen. It shows me I have 20 color changes. We know there's only 5 color changes on this one particular design. The reason I have 20 color changes is because the machine is reading each design as a separate color change. Well, we don't want to do all that because we know 3 of these are the same color because I didn't change anything. So to do that, I simply come back to the home screen, touch the edit screen. Right here, where you have the red and the blue spools of thread, this allows me to color group. So this design will be independent of itself. Right here, this is 1 of 2. When I go to 2, goes to the second page. Now they're grouping these 5 color changes together. Okay, so I hit OK. So when it goes back to the Ready to Sew screen, you will see I only have 10 color changes because these 3 has 5 and this has 5. So that's how easy it is to do color changes. And there's one more thing I want to show you real quick. Here we have a monochromatic key. Monochromatic key allows you to change any design. Let's say if you want to turn this to red work or something like that, you would touch that one simple button. It says sew all layers without stopping or changing color. Hit OK. And what that does, it will take the screen, you will get a monochromatic. It will be like just black and white because the machine doesn't know what color you're actually going to stitch this design now. So it's kind of grayscale. It'll still show 20 colors because it doesn't know what color you're going to stitch it out. Okay. Some of the other things on here, this machine has 2 USB port on the side to let you bring in designs on the side right here. You have 2 USB port for importing the design. In the front, you have a file folder right here. If I touch the file folder will let me look for design that's built into the machine. I can look for it, and then I just have to tell it which USB stick I have on there. Since I don't have a USB in the machine knows. So as you can see right here. So if I was going to do that, if I had put a USB stick in, I would simply just touch the file folder to open it up to bring out the design. This right here was done using the yarn couching foot. This is a design from Anita Good. It's from the Quilter's Holiday Design Packet. And the original design was, I think the largest was a 5x7. I took it into our digitizing program, the artistic digitizer, and enlarged it to fit the 9x9 hoop. So that's how big this design was stitched out. But what I want to show you is this. this Christmas quilt that I did right here, as you notice, I have 2 different size yarn on this quilt. This, because remember I said there's 2 different couching foot, yarn couching foot that comes with the machine.
The couching feet are included?
The 2 sizes. So the small one will use your sport yarn. The larger one is the opening size. So I'm talking about on the foot. One has a smaller opening. The other one has a larger opening. The larger opening, you can couch down what they call chenille yarn. This is just a chunky yarn that I got at Joann's. This is my embroidery unit. There's a lever on the side. I pushed it down. The unit's open. I am ready to embroider. Now, we talked about the free yarn. This is the free yarn. On our machine, embroidery units attached. I can take this part off. I have a free arm right here. This would actually attach to right here. So when I'm embroidering, this hoop would be right here, and I can pull stuff through underneath the arm of the machine. Okay, I don't know if you can see it there. I'll come around. Thank you. So I can pull what I'm sewing around the free arm. This hoop is small enough that I can do a baby onesie, pull it through the neckline, and embroider on it. So, I mean, on a onesie or anything like that, you wouldn't embroider anything big anyways. Not only that, with the other hoops, the oval hoop, this one right here, you can hoop something like a pocketbook sideways, pull it underneath the free arm if you can get this through the opening of the pocketbook. If you need to, you can rotate the design and stitch it out on the machine. You can also hoop a t-shirt, like a knit t-shirt, and be able to embroider on it. Okay? So what do you guys think?